Hey, Jeff here, your YouTube reviewer of New England brews, and welcome back to NEBR, New England Beer Reviews. Today, from the Smuttynose Brewery of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, this is the Smuttynose Scotch Ale for 2012. The Smuttynose Scotch Ale comes in at 8.2% ABV. This beer was available for a while, some years ago. They brewed a Scotch Ale a few years back, but then they took it off the market for a while. So between 2008 and 2012, this beer was not available. But due to popular demand and from the general public, they decided to bring it back for 2012. So I'm pretty sure I had this back in 08 or 07 or thereabouts when it was first available, though I can't quite recall. But I am looking forward to trying it this year. And reviewing it here today. Now, the interesting thing about this, I'd like to read the little label on the side. As you can tell, as you know, or you may not know, a lot of Scotch ales tend to be very malty, very sweet, have a nice bold character, sometimes a bit of a smokiness, and I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with this beer. But they do have a description on the side of the label here, which I find kind of interesting. I think they're trying to make it a little different than your typical Scotch ale. I have to excuse the glasses because I can't read it without this. But it says here, our Scotch Ale is a bold amber beer that balances smooth, rich sweetness with a hint of peat smoked malts. The infusion of this subtle smokiness invites images of heather fields, platters of haggis, and the poetry of William McGonagall. Well, I guess they're really trying to make you think of Scotland with this beer. So I'm going to open it right up and check it out and see how it is. First of all, of course, the Smuttynose standard cap with the standard logo that they put on their caps. So traditionalists don't normally put Scotch ales in these kind of pint glasses, but this says Smuttynose on it, so that's the main reason I'm doing it into this particular glass. So let's give it a pour and see how it looks, smells, feels, tastes, and all the other things I like to do in my reviews. Alrighty then. Good. Right to the top. Let's put this over here, next to these other Scotch bottles. Alright, getting a lot of aroma before I really even put it up to my nose, so that's encouraging. But first of all, let's take a look at the color. Getting here a nice, rich amber, deep amber color with some fairly decent carbonation and a pretty good sized, soft, silky, fluffy sort of off-white head. And that's the way I poured it, of course. And I'm also serving it at around, I'm guessing, between 45 and 50 degrees at the moment, because it hasn't been in my fridge very long. So, but it's a handsome looking beer, fairly decent clarity. Not foggy or cloudy, so it's not been bottle fermented. So, so it's a fairly nice looking beer, I must say. Let's check out the aroma. This is brewed with 5 different malts. And they use only Willamette hops, one type of hop, to balance it off. So they use 5 different malts here, including chocolate and Munich. And I'm getting a pretty decent malty character here on this. I mean, that's what I'm getting right up front. But there's also a kind of a fruity sort of character interacting with the yeast on the nose and just bringing out that kind of aroma. So I don't, Scotch ales don't normally have a fruity sort of aroma to them, as far as the ones I've tried anyway. But it does have a nice malty character, a fairly sweet character. Hops are very subtle and laid back. As I said, there's only one hop that they're using in this, the Willamette hops. This is also aged in red wine barrels, I believe. So that adds, maybe that's why I'm getting this kind of a fruity character as well. So let's check out the taste and the body. Let's swirl around a little bit. I'm getting a decent body, medium to bold, slightly astringent, acidic. It's not a real smooth or creamy body, but it's got a bit of a a carbonation feel to it. It doesn't really break apart though when I'm letting it swirl on my tongue, but medium is a pretty good description, I would say. I'm not getting much of a smoky character, but more malts and sweetness. Now, taste-wise, In the taste, I am getting a good malt character, as I mentioned in the aroma. And again, there's this kind of an odd fruity character going on. So it might be a grape, red grape type character or something. That could be coming into play here, just giving that slight fruity character, which is not real typical of the Scotch ales I've had. Smokiness is not as noticeable on the nose. I get a touch of smokiness on the taste. You know, and I like beers that have a bit of a smoke feel to them. It just kind of gives it a bit more interesting character as far as I'm concerned. But begins sweet. Bitterness is rather low to moderate. It doesn't really linger terribly long. I am getting a slight lingering hop bitterness at the end, but it's not overpowering. It's just there. After I swallow the beer, it sort of lingers on a little bit on the back of my throat. But it's a nice beer. Now, if you're really used to the malty character of Scotch ales, this does have some of that, but I think I'm picking up more of this sort of fruity character as well, which just gives it a very unique flavor, you know, for a Scotch ale. I mean, you're very used to having this abundance of hops when you drink a Scotch ale. I mean, that's kind of what makes them really the way they are made. But this has this just added attraction of this slight fruity character that's kicking in as well, kind of merging with the malts and then dissolving and evolving into this sort of bitter, moderately bitter hop character at the end, which lingers a bit but then eventually fades away. A pretty good, well-balanced beer. You know, if someone were to give me one of these blind test, it probably would. I wouldn't think of it as a Scotch ale as my first choice. I might think of it more as maybe a strong ale or something like that. But you know, because Scotch ales do have a particular unique flavor characteristic to them, and if someone were just to pour me a bottle and pour me a glass and put it on the table in front of me and say, "Drink this," and ask me and try to get me to guess what it's all about, I don't think Scotch ale would come to mind right away. And whether that's good or bad, I mean, you know, when you drink a beer that's labeled in such a way as a particular characteristic, you really hope to get those characters. And you're getting some of them here, but you're also getting that kind of barrel feel as well. So it's a very interesting beer, and I'm really saying this in a good way. I'm actually enjoying this beer a lot. So it is a likable, drinkable, nice beer. The alcohol is well integrated into the beer at 8.2%. I thought it might have a bit of a more punch, but I'm not really noticing that. It seems to be well integrated in. So that's always a good thing too. Help you enjoy the beer more. But then again, it can also trick you into drinking too many of these and make you a little kind of woozy at the end of it. So I really enjoy this beer. I'm going to give it a good strong thumbs up. So that's it for today. This is the Smuttynose Scotch Ale. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you again next time.